Hi sociologists, I wanted to speak with you about the sociological imagination. It's a topic that we're going to embed throughout the class, throughout the semester together. It's a really critical concept to understand, and in fact it's probably the most difficult concept to grasp over the course of the semester when learning sociology. You'll notice that we have work to do on the sociological imagination. Both it's assigned in the Seeing Ourselves book, and you will notice you have a numbered article for the directed learning activity. I wanted to do an additional video as I wanted to kind of help guide your thoughts while you're reading the material, or to even review after reading the materials, so it helps integrate things a bit more. Essentially, the sociological imagination by C. Wright Mills, his idea is that we look beyond ourselves, our individual person, to identify if there are patterns in the society that are affecting our individual lives. And he says that it's a task of the sociologist to kind of look up and see what's happening in the society and determine whether or not it can be linked back to individual experiences. Now, he uses some funky words that maybe don't seem common. He uses the words history to refer to the society, and he uses the word biography to mean us as personal individuals. And he's asking us to make that link between history and biography. Now, I see students semester after semester having looked at the C. Wright Mills material and concluding that we as individuals have this great impact on society, that we can make these changes in society. And it's true that C. Wright Mills did foresee sociologists being able to change society. But first we have to make the link, and we have to see how society is affecting us. And he didn't really emphasize that individual actors change society. He thought it was through the research process that sociologists could push for societal change. He really saw sociologists as activists rather than just passive researchers. There's a couple of passages I wanted to point out to you that I think might help focus a little bit more clearly on how we need to make that link to look more at society and see those broad patterns and focus more on that piece. So the first one, and I'm actually using the book, so it's in the numbered article, but at the moment I do not know exactly which numbered paragraph it is. In the paragraph where he says what they need is a quality of mind to help them use information to develop reason in order to achieve lucid summations of what is going on in the world and of what may be happening within themselves. So lucid summations of what is happening in the world mean to have a clear idea of something that is happening in the world and how that affects us personally, how we can link what's going on in the world to what's going on with us in ourselves. So he's really asking us to make that link. Then later on, a few paragraphs down, he talks about the first fruit of the imagination, but at the conclusion of that paragraph is something that I wanted to point out to you. And there he says, by the fact of his living, he contributes, however minutely, to the shaping of this society and to the course of its history as he is made by society and by its historical push and shove. The reason I wanted to point this out is because Mills is telling us here that as individuals we contribute minutely. He is using this word minutely to identify that while we do contribute to society, it's fairly minute, but the bigger impact is the course of history and how it helps make our individual experiences. I hope this additional information is helpful, but I wanted to add a couple of other ideas. So, taking it away from the theory part, taking it away from the classical sociological writing part, expanding our imagination a little bit farther. What if, for example, instead of being born in the 21st century in the United States, you were instead born in Afghanistan? How would your life be different? What kinds of things, what kinds of history is going on that would have changed your life trajectory? Similarly, let's say you were born in the United States. I wanted to use an example of, let's say you were born in Germany in the very early 20th century or the late 19th century, not long before the rise of the Nazi Party, and you were a young adult at that time. How would your life history be different? How would your personal experiences be different? Something that might be a little easier to wrap your mind around could be maybe you were born in the same time period in the United States, but instead of being born a male or a female, you were born the opposite sex. How would your life trajectory be different? These are important questions. These things, these questions about history and things that are happening in the society, and that how would that affect your personal experiences, that is the question of the sociological imagination. And that is the question I'm really asking you to kind of take a look at. What are the patterns in society that affect me personally? They don't just affect me personally, they may affect everyone who's similar to me, has this similar set of experiences. We're going to ask that question a lot over the course of the semester, and I hope that this additional information is helpful to you. Thanks.